We're a service company. Yes, we don't have any products. So people are our biggest and the most valuable assets in the company. So we very careful how we select those people. We usually hire slow and fire fast, and hopefully it doesn't happen that often. Yes, when we hire our engineers, we're following several criteria. Technical knowledge, absolutely. You have to be one of the top engineers because we're dealing with a lot of problems helping our clients to resolve the issue. Other company can't, so that's very important. But the second thing we're looking at is human factor, soft skills, how people communicate with each other. Are they leaders or be ready to step into leader's position? Do they have intent to grow and just get to the next level? And technical skills, management skills, or any other skills. It doesn't have to be technical skills. We admire people with goals and desires.
Welcome to Grow Think Tank. This is the one and only place where you will get insight from the founders and the CEOs of the fastest growing privately held companies. I am the host. My name is Gene Hammett. I help leaders and their teams navigate the defining moments of their growth. Are you ready to grow?
Today we look at building relationships inside the company that help you drive consistent growth. Our special guest today is Slava Khristich. He is the CEO of TATEEDA, and they are a custom software development company. And he's got a multicultural business, which provides a lot of experienced people across the world with different technology skills for their clients, but also involves challenges of how do we work across cultures. So I think it's a pretty interesting conversation today about building relationships inside the company and why that matters if you want to grow your company. So stay tuned and enjoy yourself. If you're thinking about growing your company and you're thinking about really pushing it to the boundaries, either one way we serve clients is through executive coaching, which is about helping your executives, whether it be the CEO or other executives, really get the coaching they need to go to that next level. We also do leadership development, which is turning managers into leaders and giving them the leadership skills and coaching to make that journey possible. If any of those interest you, make sure you go to genehammett.com, schedule a call with me, and let's talk about your business. And now here's the interview with Slava. Slava, how are you?
Great, Gene. How are you?
Great. We're going to talk about relationships inside, outside the business, and all how they contribute to company growth. But before we get there, tell us about your company, TATEEDA.
TATEEDA. Yeah, we've been in business almost 10 years. Company was growing year after year. We do custom software development for clients in US and Canada at this point. Our team is worldwide distributed. We have people in over 16 countries right now. So a lot of remote work and remote communication with our peers, engineers.
Well, I bet that makes relationships even more important to have a distributed team that's sort of virtual as the company has evolved. Slava, when you think about growing to this level, what do you think about the relationships of the company? Like I know you couldn't do this alone. You had to work with others, and you had said earlier that people are the greatest asset of the company. Tell me a little bit more about that.
Correct. We're a service company. Yes, we don't have any products. So people are our biggest and the most valuable assets in the company. So we very careful how we select those people. We usually hire slow and fire fast, and hopefully it doesn't happen that often. Yes, when we hire our engineers, we're following several criteria. Technical knowledge, absolutely. You have to be one of the top engineers because we're dealing with a lot of problems helping our clients to resolve the issue. Other company can't, so that's very important. But the second thing we're looking at is human factor, soft skills, how people communicate with each other. Are they leaders or be ready to step into leader's position? Do they have intent to grow and just get to the next level? And technical skills, management skills, or any other skills. It doesn't have to be technical skills. We admire people with goals and desires. That's what's very important for us.
You said something that's a pretty big phrase. Are they ready to step into leadership? How do you determine whether someone's ready for that?
Well, we'll see behavior of certain people in our teams when they take more responsibilities and they never been asked about that. They do more that we expect them to do. And this is very good indicators that people are on the right path. And later on, when we see that behavior, we may ask, well, would you like to step up and maybe manage some people? And some people say yes, we give them some trial period to do it. If they succeed, they move on. If they don't, they step back and there's no hard feeling. And that's, well, they tried at least. And some people are not suited for it. And we had several people in our team, they thought they could manage other people and be leaders, but they couldn't. They were great technical leads on technology side, but not necessarily dealing with human issues and relations and all other stuff. But yeah, we just give people a try.
So you give it a try, and do you support them in that journey to management?
Yeah,
how does that work? How does that look?
Well, we give them tools. We have one-on-ones. We, more senior management talking to those people, sharing their knowledge, how to do, what to do. We do have certain procedures in place. So we ask them, well, can you follow at least some of those procedures? That will help. It's okay to deviate, and each team has totally different vibe inside, and we're flexible with that. Plus, it's a big cultural factor. We have people, as I said, in distributed network, a lot of them in Europe, a lot of people in Latin America, different cultures. And sometimes it may be difficult to be part of that culture and integrate smoothly. But some people do fit in very well and some may not.
You had mentioned communication earlier. Is there anything that you guys are doing to help people communicate more effectively?
Yeah, we use some of the tools, but one of the things we started doing almost a year ago, we get our teams on twice a week sometimes. Well, it depends on the region, but at least once a week, maybe twice a week. And where people just in the different teams, they get online, turn their cameras on, and they, for 10, 15 minutes, they talk about anything but work. Mm-hmm. So they share their personal events, birthdays, whatever happens to them, just anything they want to share, but they don't talk about work. And we're getting really good feedback. People do really like that communication. We even had company-wide where people from different parts of the world would be able to join into different rooms, like Zoom rooms, I don't remember how you call them. And we just randomly place people in those waiting rooms, so they get together for 5 minutes. They share, they get to know each other. It's totally random, people having fun, and it's one of the exercise we start doing, and we continue doing that. It helps people with communication. So when you know somebody, when you see the face, when you see impression of that face and how people do receive when you're talking to them, it actually builds that camaraderie and people more open to get help from somebody they already know and talk with, instead of just fire into nowhere or fire and forget. You fire your message and you never get any replies from it. After doing that, we get much more response from the team. And we do have our monthly and quarterly reviews forms where people do submit anonymous forms to management where they want to see improvements. And we always take those very seriously, and we publish our results. We totally transparent what people say in those forms, and people do see some changes, what we're capable of doing.
Slava, what do you call these Zoom sessions where they're talking personally, not about work?
No, we just get together. We don't have any
just get together. There's no formal name for it.
No.
We got here because you felt like relationships are the core of business, and I don't disagree with this whatsoever. But this is one of the tools that you guys are using for people to connect and engage outside of work, which I love this idea because it's simple and it's free.
Yep.
Is there anything else that you guys are doing to improve the relationships across your teams?
We are we're planning to try some other online software which allow you to do some more formal events. We're in progress of reviewing that platform right now with our management. But honestly, no, it's not, because it's extremely difficult. It's multiple time zones, different cultures, mostly time zones. Because we respect our people time. We don't want them to get on the meeting like 2 a.m. So it doesn't matter which time zone you're in. We're trying to find that time which is not too late and not too early. for most of the people.
Slava's been talking about personal conversations. Here's why I think this is important inside of our organizations, just so you get my perspective on this. A lot of times we focus on the work, we focus on, the projects, the deadlines, and some of the difficult conversations we have to have are around work. But we really don't take time to actually get to know each other, especially if we're in a fully hybrid environment. These things are a little bit more natural when we're in person together. We meet each other in the kitchen. We meet each other, coming into work, leaving work. We get to have different conversations that are not just project or work related. And so if you create space that allow people to do this consistently, and you encourage them to do it, and you reward them to do it, you recognize them for doing it, you will find that the organization will get to know each other. They will get to understand that. There'll be a little bit more empathy, and you'll have better relationships inside your company. That's just my take. Hopefully you agree. Back to Slava. I am curious about your own leadership. Is there any mistakes that you could share with us that could help us be better leaders that you've worked through over your years?
Well, I think I have a lot of mistakes.
Okay.
And every time I make them, I'm trying to improve and just move forward. But well, our company principles based on trust, and we don't do micromanagement. We only work with people we trust, and this trustfulness to everybody. And we start with idea: we trust you first, and then it's like you're innocent until you're proven guilty. So this is how we start. We trust everybody. Sometimes we do trust people way too much, and people do abuse the system. And unfortunately, we do find that out later. And then we have to let those people go. So this is one of the mistakes. So we, trust but verify. We're doing that a little bit more aggressively right now, not as lean as we were, just once in a while. Everybody's good. When team is growing, and sometimes we need faster to get some resources. That was one of the mistakes. We would not, how to say it, to our standards. We would get people, but maybe they were not, as soon as you get B player, you start getting C players. And before we had only A plus players. And at some point we had like such a fast growth that we thought, oh, okay, one B player would not be that bad. And we had like B players, and we thought we can make them A. It didn't happen. They become C. That was a big mistake. So we kind of fixed that problem. So now we're back to all A players. And we're not going to repeat this mistake again. So even doesn't matter how fast we need to grow, we're not going to drop our ball on people we want to work with. It's one of the biggest things.
I'm going to explore two different concepts with you that you just mentioned. First one is we trust you first. I think this is contrary to what a lot of people are used to. They say trust needs to be earned. But you guys are hiring adults. I would assume that you're going through the right process to make sure you got the right people. But you're deciding to trust them first, and that has worked out well for you guys.
Most of the time, yes. I would say 95%. This is why people stay in our company for very long period of time. Very long. We don't have much of turnover for people who are really in our company. And it's people stay for years, or they stay with us for months or two. And months or two, we do figure out that's not the right fit. So we don't have turnaround like 1 year, 2 years, extremely rare cases.
Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, and that's the problem, because sometimes we just interview, even though we do have multiple interview, we kind of have pretty good skills to read people, their emotions, how they behave themselves, how they answer the questions, and we do give them a try. Yes.
And then the other thing you said was about the A players, and you threw that in there. Like, I've heard this before, and I've seen it happen. B players hire C players. C players will hire D players because for whatever the dynamics that are going on, they think it's okay. But an A player doesn't tolerate any of these other players across the organization. Has that been your experience?
Yeah, that's what I said. Yes, we made this mistake. We hired a few B players, and we understood that it was a mistake. So we corrected relatively fast.
I would like to go a little bit further into that. Is there anything that we haven't discussed about, the relationships across your organization that you feel like is important in your ability to create a fast growth company?
Well, at least in our organization, we have totally open door policy. Anybody can, we have special dedicated time for any employees, members of the company can contact me directly on certain day time. Mm-hmm. And in general, people open to pretty much ping me anytime they want. I always reply to them, and I will open to talk to them. We're pretty flat organization, even though we do have a hierarchy, but we're pretty flat, and we like to stay this way. People do
Perfect.
help with project management, some other stuff. Yes, we have some hierarchy here, but pretty much with human relations, between our employees and management, it's very little. We don't have layers and layers. Well, we're a small company still. It might change if we 10x the company, maybe, but I don't
I've
see
got
it
one more
quickly.
question for you, and you may not have an answer for this because this might be a curveball because we did not prepare for these in advance. You said you hire A players. Do you have a process or a question that allows you to tune in to whether someone's an A player within your organization?
Yeah, we do have following the process, yes. The good thing about our company, we have a lot of different processes. Processes for hiring, process for offloading people who are not performing as expected. We do have quite a few processes.
Perfect. I really appreciate your time. Thanks for being here.
All right, great. Thank you for having me.
Great conversation today talking about relationships. I mean, we all know relationships are critically important to the success of our businesses, but are you intentional about that? I love the fact that they are getting on Zoom to not talk about business, talk about other things and what that does inside the relationships. And so hopefully that is a lesson that you can actually use to create the kind of relationships and trust that you want within the organization. Now, thanks for Slava for being here. And if there's anything we can do to help you in your journey of growth and leadership, make sure you reach out. We do executive coaching, we do leadership development, all of those things just for you. When you think of growth and you think of leadership, think of Growth Think Tank. As always, lead with courage. We'll see you next time.